Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the League of Inches podcast. It's a special tonight, Origin team list, basically game one preview by us. So I've got Trav, I've got Jesse, and I've got myself. So two New South Welshmen on the potty and one Queenslander. There'll be a bit of everything tonight, I reckon. We all know last year as well, going off last year, how much Jesse loves these ones. He gets very passionate, which I am all for, actually. So I'm going to encourage it tonight, just to rip and tear, get involved. Very, very keen to rip into this one. That is for sure. Jesse, it's the team lists are out there. You are the most passionate as they come when it gets to this time of year. I absolutely love it. Talk to us.
Well, I love State of Origin. I love it. And I loved it well before I even really got into the NRL, to be fair. It was just that thing that, everyone sort of got up and about. And even in my household, we weren't a big footy family. We were more about the soccer and football, that kind of sport. But we always still got up for State of Origin. It was just a tradition. So I love it. I do get very passionate. I get my annual, it's just probably, not the hour for profanity, but F Queensland. Dirty dogs.
Yeah, it's all right. Pump up. I'll put an explicit ahead of this one.
If we can put beepers on there. Yeah, 100%. Fuck Queensland. I've had enough. And I was
it's that time of year. We've got to get passionate. It's great.
Oh, 100%. I'll get up and about it. But yeah, like even at Magic Round 2, at, the Caxton, walking around Suncorp, I'm still saying it to everyone and they're just looking at me going, you flop. Where are you, mate? I'm fucking right here. So yeah, no, it's awesome. But yeah, the team lists have come out. A lot to go through, to be fair. The Queensland, I only just saw it this morning. But the Blues side, look, we've been talking about the predicted side and what they could run with and all the stuff that we will get into this pod. But you know what, to be fair, I'm not too surprised by what I've seen. I don't mind what I've seen either. So yeah, we'll definitely get into it.
Plenty to rip into. Trav, the lonely Queensland man tonight. You're obviously just underdogs then. You're just going to keep running with it, aren't you?
Yeah, it's pretty hard not to run with it when I keep looking at that booze list.
The booze list? Did you say that on purpose?
You said boo earns.
That was a very good play on words by you. Very, very good. All right, let's rip into the Blues first because I've got them first on my list. So first up, and it's probably a topic straight away to discuss, fullback is Dylan Edwards. Boys, where we're going to go? Are we happy with the Dylan Edwards naming? Jesse, I know there was a lot of talk, and for me, even as late as the last week or two, I actually had James Tedesco in front just because I feel like he's been a clear standout this year. Ryan Papenhuyzen made a very late push as well. I think it got onto a lot of people's radars in the last month of football, and rightly so. He's been incredible. But Dylan Edwards has done nothing wrong last series. Probably has played some of his better football in the later couple of weeks so far. He still, for mine, hasn't looked his complete self, but is slowly getting back there. They've just had the bye, Penrith, so it's a bit of a longer turnaround for Penrith as well to get their bodies right and things like that. Are you happy with the Dylan Edwards naming at fullback?
Yeah, I am, to be fair. And I didn't really expect anyone else, honestly. Like, we could all speculate. We can talk about Tedesco, how good of a form he's in. I just think when it comes to Teddy, like, his time for Origin is kind of past now. And like he may be the most informed fullback and he may be the best choice as far as, Origin Blues fullback goes, but he's handed the reins down now. And I don't think they can go back to that again to then just have to replace him next season. So the series going forward, you've got to look forward for it. And I think Edwards is the guy, honestly. He will be the guy for probably a few more years too. Penrith have just been really disjointed this season. It's been quite broken. There was obviously injuries and the shuffle of the side, the amount of losses they've had, it's finally caught up to them. So like on that side of things, and you can put in Edwards himself, hasn't really been as good as he has been in the last couple of years. But again, it's like you saw what he did last year. He does his work. He's the fullback you want to do that kind of work. I just think he's going to keep doing it. Like I like the Edwards thing. And to be fair, it might actually light him up again. And there might be a late run with good form coming from the State of Origin camp itself. It could be what he needs to. But yes, I'm happy with Edwards at fullback.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with what you're saying. Trav, in terms of the opposition side of things, is he probably the one you wanted to see? Is it fair to say, or a different mind frame there? Some people are out there saying it's a safer pick of the three that were potentials to be picked.
Yeah, out of the three, based off to what I've seen this year, I definitely, as a Queensland fan, would rather see Edwards than the other two with the way that they've been playing. 100%. Yeah. I mean, I get everything that Jesse's saying. Like I do, I get it. But I just don't think Origin is a platform to be sitting there going, oh yeah, the reins have handed over now, and we'll just keep playing until it's Dylan Edwards' spot now. Like, it's pick the team based off the way that the dudes are playing. Like, it should almost be like an all-stars type of game. Pick the guys who deserve to be there, who have been playing really well, and then that's what you do. Like, yeah. So it doesn't make sense. But, I mean, I get it. Like, he was the friggin' Australian player last year. He was a monster last year as well. So, like, I get it. But, yeah, to me, and you'll see when I'll review, and I'll say this plenty of times, and I said it last week when we spoke about this, Joel, is that, like, my picks have been based off form and what I see for most this year. So
yeah, and then that's fair, I guess. As we've heard from both coaches in the lead up to this, they always claim the form line as well. So does make a little bit of an interesting point, because I think we can all probably agree at the moment both Teddy and Pappy has probably been in better form than Edwards if we are looking at it just from purely a club point of view in 2025. But I think the runs on the board from Edwards last year, I think he was one of the Blues' best and most consistent last year as well. He did a lot of cleanup work, was just as solid as ever. The Australian fullback as well, the incumbent there. I'm not going to be up in arms about this selection. I do understand where they're coming from. There's been a few other changes in and around this team from last year's series win, so it's probably good to get some of these key players in these key positions who were there last year still in the team, keeping that sort of nucleus of the team and how everything happened last year together. The back line, I'll keep them all together. So the wingers are Brian Toto and Zach Lomax. The centers, Stephen Crichton and Latrell Mitchell. Now, just while everyone's out there listening, Stephen Crichton has been cleared for his injury at the moment. They'll just ease him into the week. Apparently, he has actually been battling with this for a couple of weeks now. And I said it just before in an Instagram question that, funnily enough, he's been playing his best football the last few weeks as well, I feel like, this year. So keep that injury going. Keep it up, because he's doing the remarkable there. His attacks come into its own as well, which I love being a New South Welshman. I'll go to Trav first. This back line, I've got to be honest with you, mate. I'm trying to find ways to look at it from your point of view, and all I can think at the moment is, holy shit.
Oh, it's incredible, eh?
Yes.
It's incredible. And then you can put Latrell Mitchell, who plays fullback for his club, in there, and everyone not one single person questions it. Jeez, it's a luxury to have, isn't it? Toto coming back. I mean, the only I suppose the only thing that I'm looking at is there's not a lot of minutes in a couple of those guys, recent minutes in a couple of those guys. So hopefully the Origin arena kind of hurts that, because then they've also got a week and a half off. But yeah, it is what it is. I'm in awe of it. They deserve it too. It's Lomax's spot to lose, and then we all sort of question whether he'd make it or not, based on the fact that he's only had one game and he goes out and puts that performance on the weekend and says, "Well, hello everybody, it's my spot." I mean, Brian Toto came back for his one game against the Cowboys. Wasn't great, but I mean, it was clear that he was only literally playing to get minutes in his legs, like as in that's all he wanted to get through. He just wanted to get through the game. Yeah, and Stephen Crichton
work, surprisingly. Like,
yeah,
I know, and I agree with
not
you.
the
I
Brian
think it was
Toto.
his best game, but he still actually got through a fair bit, which filled me with a bit of confidence, to be fair.
Yeah, and then he had the week off this week, and so yeah. And Stephen Crichton, like, I laughed at all this talk around his injury and that he's had it for a few weeks, like, and he's still been able to do the things that he's done. Like, I still can't get out of my head that try he scored last weekend where he picks the ball up over the top of the dude, palms him off.
Yeah.
Like that's just, and you're telling me the dude's injured? Like, yeah, far out. What a freak. Yeah, what a backline.
That looked like he was versus his cousins in the backyard. They're all 10 years old, and he's playing right now, just palming all these little kids away in the backyard. Is fantastic to see. I understand totally where you're coming from with the injury stuff, and the minutes might be a cause for concern for the Blues in this one. My only comeback, I guess, is the fact that both wingers in their last games that they have played, obviously Toto 2 weeks ago, Lomax last weekend, both put on pretty decent games where they actually got through some work and they weren't shying away from it. So that, for mine, was a very big positive. We've already spoken about already that the Penrith boys have had that extra week to recover as well, which I think will do both Edwards and Toto the world of good to make sure they get their bodies right. Even, and we'll talk about down the track, Yo as well, who for mine has probably looked a little bit busted the last few weeks carrying that Penrith team. And Lomax, like, if there was any question mark around Lomax, that game on the weekend, I know it was against the Knights, but the work he got through was just ridiculous. Like watching that as a Para fan, I was actually hoping he had a quiet game because I wanted him for this week in a selfish point of view. But in that form, in that mind frame, there's not many better in the game. And to be fair, I'll probably have him as the second best winger in the competition. And I'm glad to have him in the Blues. And the centers, like I'd argue Crichton's probably in career best form at the moment. And that's saying something because I feel like he's had some really good moments in his career already where he's had great patches. But what he's doing at the moment on a consistent basis, both in defense and now in attack, where that's come into it, is just bringing him to another level. And Latrell's in this Latrell mind frame at the moment, which I think, and I know for the Queensland I have spoken to the last 6 months or so, if he ever got into this mind frame, they were very, very worried about the Latrell that the Blues would be putting out there. And I think we're going to see something special from Latrell next Wednesday in this series as well. Jesse, this backline, it's pretty exciting. And we haven't even mentioned, we'll talk about it in a second, the big name that's out. And that's saying something to the credit of the four men that have been chosen.
Yeah, the back line is flawless, to be fair. I don't think they could have picked a better group of players for those positions. Like there's a lot of talk about like Turbo, Carraz getting a debut. Obviously, these guys have been, well, Carraz, got laid out injured. To be fair, I don't think he gets that spot over Lomax anyway. Even as good as Carraz has been this whole season, and Lomax coming back essentially for one game and putting on an audition, just flawless. Like it's his, and there's no arguing against it. And you can go through the rest of the players too. Like Latrell, he's a fullback for the Rabbits, fair enough, but he's one of the best centers in the comp, especially when he's there and he puts that Blues kit on. Jesus Christ, like he's the last person you want to be lining up against. And just it probably would have been a very comfortable pick, probably one of the earliest picks that Laurie's going to put in that side. So I think, yeah, he's just nailed that as far as it goes. There's not really too much discussion around other players. And there's a lot of omissions, man. Like you got players that were great, have been great for the Blues too, that don't get a look in. And to be fair, I don't think they deserve the spot over who's been chosen. And a lot of it is injury related. Like Best can make a claim because he was very impressive when he played in the Origin side as well. Obviously he's injured, but again, I don't think he gets in that spot over Latrell. Turbo's another one who's been playing on one leg. I just don't think there's a spot for him. And I don't think they are willing to sacrifice the quality and the depth they've got just to be putting in the star power names, essentially. But you're not losing anything putting Crichton and Latrell in your centers. And then Toto, like me, he's played a couple of games. He's come back from injury, but like he ran for almost 200 meters on a return. Like it's Toto. Like you don't have to. There's no trial for him. There's no getting out and getting a practice run and owning his spot. I think he's done enough now to just that's his kit. Like he's not losing it unless something drastic happens or he's injured. And I think you can pretty much put Lomax in that same boat now too. These guys have cemented those positions for the foreseeable future, and I'm stoked with it. I don't think they could have done it better.
Just to ask you, could you have found a way to put Turbo in this team, or you're completely happy with Turboless Blues?
It's hard, man. Like a fit Turbo, you have to fit him. You have to. Like there's no other way around it. But he's clearly not. He's clearly not in any state to be playing on a State of Origin platform. Like he just can't do it. And I think it would be a liability if he was. And it's nuts to say. Realistically, I just don't think Turbo's the player that he has been in recent years. And I think we kind of have to realize that. It's sort of, unfortunately for him, his body has obviously let him down so many times. I just think he's just been playing busted for far too long. And the last thing he needs to go out there on that sort of stage is just to get romped, where he can do some more damage. And I think he just needs to focus on, getting himself in check first. But again, a fit Turbo, 100%, even an 80% Turbo, yeah, but I don't think he's there.
Yeah, it's concerning from a Turbo point of view, I guess. But I think, as I said at the start of this, it's huge credit to the four that have been chosen. The fact that for majority of what I've seen and heard the last 24 hours, basically it's been a slight mention of Turbo in terms of more so unlucky and hope his body gets right. But it's more so like excitement with the four players that have actually been chosen. It's a really good thing for the Blues, and it just sort of speaks where the Blues are at. Because any other year, if Turbo wasn't picked, there'd be a lot of noise out there. There'd be a lot of going, what have they just done? This is Tom Trebojevic. The Queenslanders would never not pick one of these players. But I guess for Trav, it's not seeing him there, even in the poor form he has been and the body not quite right. It still probably would sit nicely for you, Trav, because he has burnt, obviously, Queensland a number of times in the past. It's just probably a name you probably look at and go, I'm very thankful you're actually not there.
Yeah, but then I look at Toto, Crichton, Mitchell, and Lomax and go, well, who would I take out? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
so,
I agree.
One of those. The halves, Mitchell Moses 5'8", Nathan Cleary at halfback. I think this was the way to go. I've said it from almost the end of last series. I was that big on it. I know there's some people out there, some Para fans, I know probably being biased a bit, saying Moses should be halfback, blah, blah, blah. Don't get that. Honestly, I feel like these two are two of the premium players in this competition, not just halves, but just in the competition in general. They will make this work, in my opinion. I'm not concerned at all with the fact that two very dominant players together, I think they've both shown they can handle working on either side of the field. They can be comfortable doing that. So I'm really not. I don't think Luai's been that great at all this year. I don't know why he came into contention late on. I really don't get how he was feeling like at times he was very firm to get that 6 jersey, because I don't think his form has been great at all this year. I know that's with the Tigers. He's learning a new sort of game and a new organisation, new team. But I think Moses and Cleary, even Cleary in a battling penalty team, hasn't stopped trying this year, and I've really liked that part of Cleary's game. And I think being around this star-studded sort of Blues side will do him wonders after a tough year. And Moses obviously has been great, I think, for the Eels for the games he has been back in, Jesse.
Yeah, definitely. The Moses Cleary combination was the clear cut, I think, and the Luai discussion, fair enough. And him and Luai, Moses and Luai, sorry, they were great last year. They were very impressive, and even as a partnership, you're like, shit, man, these guys have done quite a job. And like Moses was just a gun, like he just put on a clinic. So he obviously did enough for it anyway, but I think, Luai was a great partnership for him and let him kind of do what he had to do. And, Luai's game was pretty good. But even when he partnered with Cleary too, he never really put a foot wrong. It's just, I don't know. He doesn't really seem to relish the stage, I guess. It's just weird. You don't really see Luai being the guy to turn the tides in a game like that. But Cleary, like, you got one of the best players of all time. There's no way you're not putting him in the team. And Moses had one of the best Origin games you could have put in. I think it was game 3 or something last year, where you just turned it on. It's like, well, these guys are quality. They'll make it work. And I just don't think there's any other halves you can really put next to them and say these are your competition for the 6 and 7. It's Moses and Cleary every day of the week.
Yep. Trav, Queensland point of view, you're probably breathing a sigh of relief. You don't have to put up with Luai for 80 minutes. I know he's been a bit of a pest over the series, but it's a very dangerous combination on paper. You look at Cleary, you look at Moses, you look at the fact that it's a pretty much a fully fit Cleary as well. And there's been a lot of talk out there about the fact that Cleary hasn't dominated an Origin series like Moses did last year, and that's his biggest critique at the moment in his game or in his career, I guess, after having 4 premierships. There's a part of me that actually feels like this might be the series where Cleary really puts his hand up and says, now there's nothing else to doubt me on.
Yeah, well, I think Moses Cleary was a no-brainer. I really don't understand the whole Luai getting picked. Why he was even in the conversation. Like, I get it. You're living in the past. Those people that are saying Luai needs to be picked, because that's the only bullet for the gun that you're giving as ammunition for why you're picking him, is because of what he's done in the past. You're not picking him at all because he's done nothing this year. Like, he's been okay, but he's done nothing for it to warrant an Origin jersey when you've got to pip Moses out of it. I've no concerns with Moses playing the 6 either. I think he's fine. I think he can adapt. Moses, I think, is really comfortable with being able to just play second fiddle. And I think Cleary's that freaking good that he'll be able to help out anyway. So and sort Moses out in some bits where he gets a bit lost. And then don't forget that you've got Yo sitting there, who's like literally an on-field coach, and we'll just ample him around. And that's somewhat inferring that Moses is dumb and doesn't know how to play footy. And the bloody dude's smart as and can play footy. So I'm just trying to clutch at something to have a conversation and make a conversation, because there's no reason why these two shouldn't be here.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is as well with Cleary, a lot of people probably forgotten already, but in that Broncos grand final, that when they had that comeback and he had that starring number of plays that he did, he actually was playing 5'8" for that back half of that game. It was Cogger that came in and started to take over that team sort of at halfback, and Cleary moved out a little bit once Luai did go. So he can handle anything. He's a top quality player. He's the best player in the world. So no doubt about that. So is this sort of the Blues modern day version of Cronk and JT in terms of they were both very dominant playmakers, but they made it work at the Origin arena. I feel like these two are sort of similar. They're very dominant ball playing players, but I just feel like they're going to make it work like both of those great players go down in history as two of the best to ever do it did.
Yeah, I would say so. Like, to be fair, the quality of Cronk and JT, that you're putting them right up against two of the greats, but like, there's nothing saying, like, Cleary, you're putting in the discussion every single day of the week. Moses is on his way. Like, he's got the quality about him. I think he's just got to do a bit more about it. Like, he's got that Blues series locked up. He's done that probably on the Origin stage. He's done more than Cleary has, to be fair. So, I just think the two of them side by side, like, you've got such power both in your halves. Like, you got two guys
Kicking
that can
game.
change a game. The kicking game between the two of them, like, you could go left, you could go right, and you're not lacking anything going one way or the other. And you're not going to be looking for. It's not going to be, let's look for Cleary to find a way out of this set. Like, you can just go anywhere, and the Queenslanders are going to be thinking, holy shit, we've got these two dudes, whether it goes one way or the other, that are going to just. They're going to send this thing where it needs to go, and on a dime too. So I love that. I love that option.
Yeah, I agree. Trav, they're two of your greatest to ever do it, especially halves. I'm not meaning to put him as in like I'm not trying to say Moses is JT or anything like that, but I'm also trying to explain the way they sort of play. Similar sort of styles, both dominant players. These two are both dominant players. Everyone's questioning if this will work, but we've seen in the past via Queensland, it can definitely work at this level. You want, like the old-fashioned saying, I feel like, is you pick your best players and you then make it work. Like that's what I feel like this is sort of becoming.
Yeah, it's a good saying, but you've got to make sure that those players are the right players too. Cronk and JT are literally gods, immortals to be. I can't say that about Moses yet. And I think Cleary's locked in an immortal one day, but he's still a young fella and he's still trying to figure it out too. So and that's funny to say after what he's been able to do. So yeah, I just think these two are such high IQ, so good at halfback roles that I think they'll just make it work. I don't think that should even be a question. I think that's just people trying to justify, why they would rather someone else play instead of what they've picked. I think that's really just clutching at straws.
Yep. The forward pack, I'll put basically them all together here. So Barnett and Payne Haas are starting. Again, Payne Haas has been cleared of anything too serious. There is a slight injury there, but they're going to monitor that. Basically, give him up until kickoff, which rightly so. It's Payne Haas. You just let him do what he's got to do and just make sure he's ready to go next Wednesday night. Reece Robson gets the hooker position. Back row is Liam Martin, Angus Crichton, and the captain and lock is Isaiah Yeo. Trav, you look at that forward pack. What are you seeing?
I've swiped away. I don't want to look at it.
Good.
Payne Haas is a monster. Crichton. Oh, sorry. And hang on, I missed what you said. Did you just go through the whole lot? Sorry, I must have switched.
I went through. Yeah, I went through props and the middles and the edge.
Oh, you did go through. So you did say Liam Martin and Crichton as well. Like Liam Martin is scary, but I haven't seen much from him this year. To be fair, I think he's very lucky to have got picked. He's definitely picked because of his history. But I can make cases for Hudson Young on form to take that spot for sure. But again, it's Origin. He's there. Angus Crichton's a freak. Again, the form hasn't been super Angus Crichton like, but he doesn't have to go and be like that for what he does in the Roosters. In this team, the team's just full of weapons everywhere. I think that the biggest, if there's a weakness out of any of those guys that we've mentioned, I would say it's Mitch Barnett. And to be fair, I didn't really have Mitch Barnett in my Origin Blues team at all. So, but he's picked at the number 8, so it'll be all to him. I think he deserves a spot, and for a history, I just didn't think it was right this year. Well, I think there's a no-brainer, and that's where I think you're probably going to go soon. But and then obviously Yeo, I think Yeo's the best 13 in the competition in the world, top 5 player in terms of talent. in the world as well. So yeah, that's a no-brainer, and he's a god. And I like listening to people last year about Yo and what he was doing, and there was talk last year that Yo shouldn't have even got picked in the Origin, and then but it just doesn't. I don't get it. How do you have the best player? Like I don't understand that take, but I don't think that's not a chat that's been happening now. But yeah, he's locked that away. That's his spot.
I feel like what it was, and I think we've seen last year Isaiah come off the bench and play in the middle, which I think actually suited him quite well. What I think it's been over the last couple of years, it feels like they've tried to carry too much Penrith over to things, and Queensland have actually been very good at nullifying a lot of that. That's why I actually said it at some points last year that I felt like Cam Murray was the better lock option for the Blues. Obviously, he's not here. He's not available to be picked, unfortunately. So I've got no doubt in my mind that Yo is going to make that work. I do think Yo, weirdly enough, I think Yo is the best lock in the world. Like, he's in the comp. I just think for some reason for the Blues and the way their style of play is at times, I think Cam Murray perhaps suits that better. And Isaiah Yo having just that middle position sort of works best for the Blues, or it did at least last year. And I feel like that was quite a dominant series win in the end for what they had to come back from and things like that. So
not so much a point at this point, not so much an important thing or big thing here, but what a luxury when you can pick between Yo and Murray as your 13. Like, Jesus Christ. I mean, obviously Murray's injured this year, but what an absolute luxury.
He's been massive. Jesse, that forward pack, it's a very intense forward pack, and I feel like all the right reasons.
Yeah, they're all animals. They're all terrifying human beings. That's why it's so good. So, yeah, I think like the whole discussion about picking on form, I think you look at this forward pack and you go, you're not picking on form, picking these boys. You're picking on just how bloody good they are and how good they've been. Because you can make the claim Liam Martin hasn't been on form. Even Yo's not been in form. Crichton himself, the Roosters, a bit different, not in form. But again, like they're built for this. I mean, they come out and they just turn it on. You know exactly what you're going to get, and it's just freakish. So I love it. I think, between the second rowers, Crichton and Yo, hands down, they were the options. Hudson Young is a luxury to have as well. I think he's probably done more than enough to try and get the spot off even Martin. But yeah, look, him coming off the bench and taking that spot, either way, you're not losing anything. Haas is a no-brainer. I think he walks into that spot anyway, so there's not much to think about there. Mitch Barnett, I did have him in the side. Obviously, I would have much preferred to see Team A, like every other person in New South Wales would have. But it's not to be. It was very vocal. It's been vocal for the last couple of weeks, and we've all kind of suspected otherwise. But Barnett's good, man. He's solid. He's going to do exactly what he has to do, and I'm not worried about Barnett being our number 8 at all in any frame at all. So. I love it. And then Yo, I think the whole thing about Yo and what people don't like about it is its time seems to slow down when he gets the ball. And they want quick, they want fast, they want the next play up, they want to just keep moving the ball on. And whenever Yo gets it, time slows down. And whether that's a compliment on Yo and how good he is, that he's able to just freeze everyone and, have time to look around and see his options and make the best one. Maybe people don't want that. They want the Murray. They want the pit bull to go out there and run and pass it off and eat someone alive. So I think, Yo's the pick, provided that there wasn't the injuries that we copped in round 11 between a few of the players in discussion. I don't know if this is the lineup that we would have seen. I feel like there would have probably been one or two other players included, i.e. Turbo, Jake Trbojevic and Saifidi, and I don't know where they would have fit into the mix, to be honest. And I don't know who would have fallen out because they were, right up in there in discussion. So I look at this and I think, man, you've done a good job picking these forwards. I don't think there's anyone you've really gotten too wrong besides May. But again, that's such a quality luxury to have. You can get into the Queensland side and they probably wish they had that kind of depth, but I love it. I think they've done a good job. And I think these boys are going to do a quality effort. So.
Yeah. No, I agree. On just to Liam Martin, I do agree. I don't think he's been in tremendous form. What I will say on Liam Martin, though, is I've noticed a lot this year whenever Penrith have been down, which I think they have been in a number of occasions throughout a number of games, he has been the guy, sort of the go-to guy who's tried to lift Penrith and make a big hit, make a big play. And that's something that I think we all know and love on this stage as well. And I'm very confident Very unlucky for Hudson Young because I think he's been the best back rower in the competition so far to not get that starting berth. But I still think he's in good enough form where he actually will come off the bench. He will provide something. I think we've seen him a bit lost in the past and felt maybe out of place, like he's not deserved of the spot maybe in the past, where there is no doubt in my mind he deserves his jersey. Again, he probably deserves a starting spot if we're being honest, but I can't wait to see him come on for probably a 30-odd minute stint or something and just rip and tear.
This just proves to me that I still feel like Hudson Young's the most underrated player in the competition.
Yeah,
just even looking at this, like, what else can he do? Like, he has been,
he's been exactly like he's been perfect, man. And I just don't feel like he can do what Hudson Young is in 30 minutes. And I think we're not going to get the best Hudson Young in an Origin jersey because of it. And like, you can scapegoat players all day, every day when it comes to State of Origin, but Hudson Young comes on for 20 minutes, half an hour. I can see him getting 25 minutes. And what's he going to do in 25 minutes? It's unless something magical happens. And he's going to be, by the time he's ready and rolling, the game's finished. And it's like, we've seen this in the past where someone gets a very short stint, doesn't really do too much about it. And then all of a sudden they didn't do anything at State of Origin. Let's not pick him again. It's like, we're not giving him the opportunity to really show up. But I think Hudson Young for 80 minutes, bloody hell. Like, it would be so good, man. So good. Especially this year.
Yeah. It was definitely a year that he did deserve it. We are going to touch on the May stuff. I will get to. I just want to get through the lineup first and then go to him as a talking point. So the bench: Connor Watson, 14, Spencer Leniu, Hudson Young, and Max King with a debut there in the 17. The extended bench is Campbell Graham as the 18th man, Stefano Utoikamanu and Hamole Olakawatu round out the 20-man squad for the Blues. So obviously both Stefano and Hamole, if their clubs were playing, couldn't obviously play this weekend as well. That's been a talking point, which we'll probably talk about not tonight. That'll be a Tuesday night show discussion there for sure. But the bench, Trav, you look at that bench from a Queensland point of view, I guess just from your rugby league mind point of view, it's not the worst bench ever. I will just say, look, I want to just raise one point here. Huge credit to Max King. I think he does deserve the jersey. Like, his form has been really, really good for the Bulldogs. Being the standout forward for mine at the Bulldogs. I just don't know what impact he's going to have. I just don't see him as a bench middle. Like, I don't see him being that guy that comes on like we've already got there in Leniu and getting it done. I see him more as a starting player and sort of just toil away, be that guy that plugs holes like a modern day Jake Jabojevic, I guess, in a way. And he's obviously not here in this team at the moment. But yeah, I'm trying not to be disrespectful because I'd love the pick. I think he thoroughly deserves it. I just don't know if it's the right fit at the moment is all, if I'm making sense.
No, you make sense. I don't agree with the pick at all. So I'm not going to cherry. I'm not going to walk around this, or what am I trying to say?
I'm going to tiptoe around.
Yeah, I'm not going to tiptoe around it. Like, I don't like the pick at all. Like, okay, yeah, he's been playing well. But I don't, just because you've been playing well doesn't mean you could deserve an Origin jersey. Like, if you're playing well, why the hell didn't they pick T May? If you're playing well, there's a whole heap of other ones that we can sit there and say they're playing well. Why haven't they been picked? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. So I don't think Max King should be in this team, to be fair. I look at the others. Like, I love Hudson Young. I think Connor Watson's the best 14 in the competition. I think hands down he's the best 14 in the competition. So that's simply his role, and he's just not going to have anyone pip him out of that. It's as simple as that. Spencer Leniu's an interesting one. Like, I get what he's built, what he can bring. I understand why you've picked him. I just don't agree with it. I just don't think that there's been any sort of form or anything that I think he's done this year that deserves it. I don't think he deserves this spot at all. I think he's incredibly lucky, and he's only been picked based off his reputation more than what he's been able to provide so far in this competition this year.
Jesse, you're the Roosters, man, and I can see you bubbling away there. I'll let you go.
We need that dog. That's why we
I
have
was
Spencer
waiting for you to
Leniu.
say it.
We need the dog. Ooh.
Oh.
Yeah, 100%. Of course. I think the bench, the 14, 15, 16, perfect. Yeah, they'd already picked themselves. Like that was, neither here nor there. Watson is the best 14 easily. I think there was no brainer. And Leniu and Young, like perfect. We saw what Leniu did last year coming off the bench. He only needs 20 minutes. My God. And like, you're playing halves 50, 60 if you can get him through that much, and sweet. Like, we just need Leniu to come on, 2 stints, just destroy people, just to come off the back fence, murder someone. Perfect. That's Spencer Leniu, and that's all we need him for. Doesn't need to do too much more, and that's where I can agree with you on the Max King. He's not that. He's not gonna be able to do that. I see him coming through more like I don't know, like a James Graham type, toiler, battler. Good, but like, what sort of impact is he going to have off the bench? I don't know. How many minutes is Barnett going to play? Is Max King going to spell him half and half? Fair enough. I think he's a good player. I think he's done quite well. I agree with you, Trav. Honestly, I really do. I just think they picked Max King to not pick Terrell May, and because Gerbo and
Or
Saifidi got injured.
Matangi.
And Kalamatangi, if anything, he should have been in there as well. And the fact that, you've got Utoi Kamanu instead of Kalamatangi baffles me massively as well. So, Olakawatu in the 20 as well. Like, there's a lot of players that have, missed out to facilitate putting someone like Max King on the bench. But I think Max King will do good. I just don't think he's going to be the guy. You know what I mean? I just don't know what he can offer. But I'm very willing to see what happens from it. Like, by all means, like, I hope he impresses me. I really do. I'm not saying it's a bad selection. I'm just saying it should have been someone else. But I don't know. It's a bit of a nothing pick, to be fair. I think they just kind of filled the 17, but there were so many viable candidates that he could have gotten in there. And maybe it was a case he didn't want to fall on his sword and, embarrass himself after everything that's sort of come out in the last week or two. But there's at least 3 players that could have walked into that spot quite comfortably, even into the starting lineup. So, yeah.
Trav, just want to go back to your Lenu discussion there, or your point. Who would you have put there instead of Lenu? Because I feel like we need, like just said, you do need that dog in Origin. You need that guy who's just going to rip and tear, even if it's for 20, 25 minutes. You need that. Yep. So I'm interested to hear who else was your option.
As a middle forward?
For as your Lenu, yeah.
As your Lenu? Yeah. I hands down pick Kalamatangi. Hands down.
Yeah,
I wouldn't even blink at that.
It's not a bad second option, is it? He's been a freak.
And there's, like, I know we've got Young on the bench there, or the Blues have Young on the bench, but he also provides that extra bit of added edge depth as well. If who knows what happened, but if it was needed, someone who can play both at a very, very good high level, which is needed. This gets us into, obviously, the big talking point, I feel like, at the moment is the fact that Terrell May is not in this team. And it feels like, and I know, Jesse, you started to hint towards it, that they've chosen anyone but Terrell May. I couldn't believe it when this started to get leaked out last week. And it was very clear to me that the media started to push this agenda. Was clearly leaked, probably by someone in New South Wales, to push this out to make it look like Terrell May is worse than he is or something, or try and find a weak spot in Terrell May's game and things like that, which I really do not understand, because I think everyone has called their bluff. Everyone is still over social media and saying the fact that they cannot understand how Terrell May is not in the 17. Like, if you want someone who's on the bench and can make an impact, my argument is, and I said this tonight in the post, that Terrell May's done the bench role last year for the Roosters. Jesse will know this firsthand. And we were screaming for him to get more minutes because he was doing so good at that. Like, he was getting 30, 40 minutes, 50 minutes on occasions and killing it. He was providing so much impact off the bench. Now this year he's shown he can do it for even longer spurts starting. Him and Payne Haas are a mile ahead, in my opinion, than any other prop forward middles in the game. I know Tino is up there. He's, for mine, more in that being that lock sort of position. So I'm going to put him to the side for now. Just in straight full-on prop forwards we're talking about. It's literally them by the length of the Flemington Straight. I'm not even kidding by that. Like, I just cannot believe for the life of me they've tried to somehow come out of this. And I've heard some people try and, on another page, and that try and get out of it as well. I'll just call it all as being what it is, which is absolute bullshit. Like, I just don't get this at all. He's clearly in there at the moment, and people are trying to bag him out for his comments. he's clearly pissed off. Like he's clearly been impacted by this and not making it, where he probably himself has thought to himself, I'm in magnificent form. I know players will always say they'll wait for the phone call, but there must have been part of him until mid last week going, I've got this jersey, me and Payne Haas up front. How good's this going to be? And now to get that news, if he's not going to say something and react to that on his own page, whatever it was, Instagram, whatever it was, I love that. Like, I know people are bagging for it, but I actually love that reaction because it shows you that he actually loves the place and he's passionate. He wanted to represent the state. I don't get it, Jess. I really don't get the fact that they've gone out of their way. Even at the moment, like there's talk about Payne Haas might not be 100% fit. There's a slight risk he might not even be there. And like, I know Travie plays for your team, but wouldn't you then put him in at least the 19th man instead of Stefano? Because you need that guy to take over as Payne Haas, who can play that longer minute stint. He can do it comfortably. He's shown it all year. Hello. I don't know what I'm missing.
Who's jumping in?
I said Jesse. Sorry, I said Jesse.
Yeah, you did say me, and then you said Trav. Yeah, no, look, I 100% agree, man. I think it's bullshit. I think it's a straight up farce. Pissed me off. I just think when a player's in that much form, and you're going to make this whole thing about picking on form, bullshit. You're picking on form. You're picking on your bloody boys club because there's something happening here to not pick Terrell May. He leads everything. You've got a generational forward in your hands, and we had one with Payne Haas, and think, holy shit, from such a young age, threw him straight into the Origin mix straight away. So this guy is a natural freak. He can play all game if we need him to. He's bigger than everyone. He's stronger than everyone. And it's like, cool, we've just got another one. Sweet. We're set up for years, and they just seem like they just want to do everything they can to not pick him. It's like, well, you know what? Tell us the reason then. Tell us the reason.
Yeah.
Give us a straight out reason. Be honest with us. 100%. Say there's players playing better than him. Bullshit, there are. I can see everything that he's been doing. There has been no one leading. As far as it goes, if you want to look at the stat sheet and you think he's stat padding because he plays 80 and everyone else just plays 50, I think that's a bullshit argument as well. He's playing 80 as a prop forward. That in itself should be enough of a consideration to get him in the mix of it. He's leading for offloads, tackle efficiency, tackles made, meters gained, post-contact meters is right up there.
And his defense is shit, Jesse.
And his defense is shit. Like, over who? What? Utoi Kamanu? Like, and you're going to put him as an 18th? Like, I just don't get it. Like, what is it? And, you know, if he comes out and says he's got a shit attitude, we had a blue, doesn't get along with X fucking whatever, I'll be like, okay, for the state of the camp, for the well-being of the camp, fair enough. And Terrell May, sort your shit out. You've got a spot here waiting for you, but we need more from you. If something like that come out, fair enough. Everyone can go, all right, cool. It's his in the future, but it won't happen. And it's not going to happen.
What do you mean need more from him? What else does he need to do?
No, not game-wise. I don't think he can do more.
I'm not trying to argue here with that comment, Jesse, but
I'm not saying game-wise. I don't think he can do any more in a game than he's already doing. And I think he's already made the claim. And that's why he put the video out. I think that's why he's pissed off. Because he knows that he's been that good. Oh, yeah. I think everyone knows that he's been that good. And that's not the reason he's getting picked. But if they're going to blame his form, saying there are players doing better than him, they want more line speed, they want whatever. It's like, well, that's not a valid argument. So there's something else. And if you're not going to say what it is, I think he has every right. And I think every other Blues supporter has every right to be pissed off about it.
Yeah. That's the only thing I want. That's the only thing I'm sort of asking for. And you've both taken the words out of my mouth is, just say the reason. Like, don't tiptoe around it with bullshit lies and facts that literally any person can find out at the click of their fingers. So just say it's culturally, this is the problem that we've got. I don't like what it is, and call it out and call that stuff out, and then allow him to have right of reply.
That's exactly right.
But instead,
I'm saying, do better if that's the case.
Yeah, but give him the opportunity to have right of reply. At the moment, his right of reply, and obviously we haven't heard the phone call, and nothing's come out to say maybe Terrell has been and he's kept it quiet, or but there
was no phone call either.
So so
Laurie mentioned in his press conference today, he was asked that question. He just said, "Have you reached out to Terrell May and spoken to him?" He actually said straight up no, which I actually find bemusing in itself as well. I think that was horrible to hear. The fact that your second best prop in your state, you can't even pick up the phone and have a discussion.
The second best prop in the competition, probably the second best prop in the world. But at the end of the day, that's just not understanding the place. That's not being that's Daly not understanding time and place in his position, because he should know full well that the competition since basically round 3 or 4 has had May as the starting forward in this. So like literally Daly should have just rang him and said, listen, we haven't picked you. We're not picking you.
Yeah.
Just do some more over the next couple of weeks and we'll pick you for 15 maybe. Like, sorry, not. I'm talking
round 15
rounds now instead of game 2. Sorry, my bad. That's what happens when you talk so much, Supercoach. Round 2, like game 2. So yeah, I'm just calling for that, literally. And the only one, and this is a little bit off track, but the only other thing I want to sort of mention, and maybe we talk about this in the next couple of weeks, Joel, in the live show or whatever. But Joey Johns, what the hell was he talking about when he had a go at him? For that, like when he got on national TV and started having a go at Terrell May for the video that he posted.
I've missed that. I've completely missed that.
All right, well,
I need to watch that.
I'll leave it there. I won't talk about it. We'll go from there. But yeah, and we'll do it. But I'll leave it there so that we can talk about it another time. Don't worry about it.
One final thing I'll quickly mention on this whole thing. Laurie Daly again has spoken and several times on this about the Max King situation in terms of his big play against the Titans, where in his words, he described it as Max King was one of the first players back. I've actually gone back to Savo and watched that play. Max King was one of the last players to get back, which granted, he still got back. I'm not going to bag him for that. He was also offside. He never got back. So it should have been a penalty. So the whole crap you're feeding us, Laurie, about how good this play was is actually just a pure lie, because it wasn't at all. And again, credit, Max King did get back. Credit to him. But I've seen Terrell May make that many effort upon effort plays this year that far outdo the number that Max King has done. Again, no disrespect to Max King. Thoroughly deserves this shout that he is getting and deserves his name in these lights. But you can't justify this. This is just inexcusable, in my opinion. I'm just so surprised as well how many media outlets and things like that have actually just gone over this and just gone, oh, yeah, all good. Like, I felt like this needed to have a lot more light on it than it currently has.
I agree. We've spent a long time talking about this, but I just want to quickly just say, as a Storm fan, and you did sort of mention it to me, as a Storm fan, I've really liked what Stefano's done for us. I think he's played his role really nicely. He's warming up into his role. He'll be much better out of Origin period, I think, when the Storm have got their team back and we've got things rolling. But he doesn't deserve an Origin spot. He doesn't deserve that spot, and it just makes no sense to me why you would put him there. But yeah, anyways, essentially what you're saying is Stefano's been better than Terrell May. Like, that's how I'm reading that.
Yeah,
I don't know how else I can
read
that.
And Matangi, because he's not even in the team either.
Yeah.
So
as the 18th, 19th, and 20th man, like I don't mind. Look, I don't really like the Campbell Graham pick either, because I don't think he's been all that good yet this year either. But I get it because of the centers and that he's a center and stuff, but I don't really like that. I love Ola Kawatu's pick at the 20 because I think he's been pretty good and I think he can play a really good role, and he's that sort of next man coming anyways. But yeah, I don't.
Doesn't that show you how strong the depth is as well for the Blues? Like, he's can't even make the bench at the moment. That's ridiculous. Ola Kawatu can't make the 17. That's ridiculous. But anyway, one final thing on the Blues, we do need to get over to the Queenslanders, and just us three getting together. We just talk. One final thing I've noticed at the moment, and has actually put me off a lot. The fact that Latrell and Spencer Leniu are currently on media bans, and they've come into the camp and they've told New South Wales, basically pick us, but we're not doing media. And the Blues have gone along with this. I'm actually pretty disgusted that the game itself has actually let this play out. I understand Latrell's done this so far this year. His form's turned around. He's been this. But this is State of Origin. This is the pinnacle of our game. There's a level of selling this to us, the fans. There's a level of selling this to the broadcasters, the advertisement, all that sort of stuff. People want to hear from people like Latrell. People want to hear from Spencer Leniu. If there is certain one or two questions out there that you don't want to answer, at the time, just simply say, sorry, no comment on that at the moment. If there's something out there that they don't want to talk about, understand. But people just want to talk about Latrell and his form and how he's been playing and things like that. Spencer, how about that hit up you're going to take off the back fence in the second half, things like that. Like, It's not sitting comfortable to me that these players are coming into the biggest arena in the game that we've got and can make this demand, and the game's just bowed down to them and gone, yep, no worries.
I don't think so, to be fair. I kind of disagree with you, to be honest. The blokes are there to play footy. The media will spin everything Latrell and Spencer Leniu will say because they've done it.
But just don't answer the question.
Don't ask him the question.
So the
Don't ask
question,
him the
no,
question.
So the question, no. So how do the players get paid?
The
By
game,
playing
exactly.
footy, by playing the game.
Right.
The game
Yeah,
isn't
yeah, that's
media.
right.
The game is football.
No, where does the money come from?
Oh, well, sponsors, supporters,
Media,
television rights.
The media, televisions, fans. Yeah. So they have a responsibility. That's as simple as that. It's end of story. There's no argument for it.
Broadcast rights are huge.
They're players, and it's a product, and that's what they do. Get over yourselves, seriously.
There's 17 players. You can interview 15 others.
You can, but I just don't like it. Like, let us know in the comments as well. I think this could be something that blows up throughout the week because I reckon media will also talk about this a lot because they won't be happy about this. But
see, that's
like
exactly
Trav's right as well. But the broadcasters paid top dollar for all this, and you're telling them that
they don't even without
player,
the broadcasters, without the sponsors, without any of that, they don't even have a job. So
Latrell arguably the biggest draw card in the game because of obviously his background that as well. Everyone stops and listens to Latrell Mitchell, whether it's good or bad. To be there in New South Wales for game one, me as a fan, I'm disappointed because I want to hear Latrell pumping up and pump me up. Like, it'll pump me up. And if there's a question out there for whatever reason he doesn't want to talk about, I'm trying to think about what it could be, and I can't remember it, but whatever it could be must be pretty bad to go on a complete media strike and to still be on this 2 months later or basically that. I just want to hear Latrell talk. I just want to hear him pump up and say how proud he is to pull his jersey on again, how he's keen to rip some Queensland heads off. And we're going to get nothing from him. I'm very disappointed by that.
Yeah, I agree with you. I do. I really do. I just think, from what has happened with these two of them, especially Latrell, and I feel for him too, because a lot of the stuff that comes through from him, it gets spun. And if they're going to talk about Latrell in the media,
remember what it is?
On a media event, he swore about something. Honestly, I can't even remember.
Oh, is that the radio interview where he swore 4 or 5 times? He's gone from that?
Yeah, probably, because that's the last time I saw him doing anything. I could be wrong. And then obviously the Leniu thing with, we all know what happened there. I just think, if they're going to talk about him being on a media ban and that's going to make the news, then whatever he could possibly say will get twisted in any other direction. And I just don't want that for him. I just want him to go out there and play good footy. And Latrell's been, he's come back from a lot. He's doing better. He's looking better. It's just let him just play his thing. Let him just make his point on the stage and let him just have a crack at game. And if he wants to talk, I'm sure he will. I'm sure if he comes out man of the match, he's going to say something. But I just don't think they should be pestering them for try and get a response that they can turn into a tabloid. I just think they target a couple of certain players, and I just don't want to see it anymore. It kind of shits us.
We will agree to disagree. Let us know in the comments what you think. I might even get a post up to see what more people are thinking about this one, because I feel like this is a bit of a underlying issue at the moment. For the Queenslanders, though, let's get and make Trav happy. Let's talk about his boys. Queensland at fullback is a guy called Kalen Ponga. Straight away, there's some talking points out of this one, because if his name wasn't Kalen Ponga, I said it last night on the round review, I don't know if he'd be picked, because I don't think his form's been great. I think there's obviously no Reece Walsh either, which has meant there's no real pressure on him. I can't think of anyone else that'd put there, maybe Brimson, but he's only just gone back to fullback for 1 week, so I don't think he's in there either. Trav, you're the Queenslander. Obviously, Kalen Ponga, we've seen him in the Queensland jersey before. He gets it done. He knows what to do. We've seen the whole turn into a different beast, but it has to be a slight concern, the fact that he's just not in any form whatsoever.
Yeah, but is that Kalen Ponga's fault or his shit team and coach's fault? I don't put that. I don't blame much of that. I blame more on the other side than I blame it on Ponga. But unfortunately, name me another centre that's been sublime that deserves that spot, and fullback. You can call that. Sorry, that's what I said, isn't it?
No,
but I know what I'm trying to say. But what I'm trying to say. No, doesn't matter. there isn't another player in the competition that has put their hand up and come to the center of the forefront of people's minds, is what I was trying to say, that says pick me. So unfortunately, based off the fact is that this is probably there's two of form picks that have been picked that I don't like. That have been picked, but that you have to, because you've got no other choice. He has to be picked. Unfortunately, he's healthy. He's awesome. He can play. I think in this element on with that team around him, Pong is going to be a sneaky MVP.
Jesse, you've ridden him as hard as anyone this year. I'm talking for other reasons at the moment as well. Those super coaches will know exactly what I'm talking about. The Ponga selection, obviously they have to pick him. He did actually hobble off on Friday as well, which hasn't been much spoken about there, but he looked to have a little niggle. Obviously nothing too bad, because we haven't heard anything since, and if it was bad, we would have heard something for sure. But I'm, as a fan, I know it's Ponga, but I don't know. I just feel like he hasn't been there, and it's very hard all of a sudden to just click your fingers and go back into that Ponga Queensland version Ponga we've seen. So yeah. What are your thoughts?
I don't know. To be fair, it's Origin. Queensland get Origin. It'll spark him. They do. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to say it how it is. They do, and they just work it out. I think Ponga was the right pick. I think if they could have chosen anyone, maybe at a stretch you could have put Hammer in there. But either way, it's that's not. Yeah, I agree. It's not Ponga. If you have Ponga, you play Ponga. He's your fullback. We're blessed to have Tedesco, Pappenhausen, Edwards as the main guy. Drinkwater could put his hand in there. We've got so many players that could be the guy. At the moment for Queensland, it's really just Ponga, and then your other guy is Walsh, and absolutely not. No chance. So even a fit Walsh, no chance. Not today. I did say Hammer, but I just don't know. I think he's better off in the centers, to be fair. So yeah, Ponga's the guy. I think the whole Knights form and the way that he's been playing, it's more down to the Knights. And Adam O'Brien and the change up at the side, the halves, you can go on forever about it. We do all the time. So I think there's more about the Knights that are wrecking Ponga than it's Ponga himself. Because you see Ponga when he's up and about it, and he's lively, he wants it, and then things just don't happen for him for the Knights. For whatever reason, they want to try something else. That doesn't work. But yeah, he's the guy. He has to be the guy. He's fit. He's got to be chosen.
Yep. The back line, so we've got Xavier Coates and Valentine Holmes on the wings. And then we've got Robert Toya and Hemiso Tabuai Fido in the centre. So a debut for Robert Toya there. I'll go to Jesse because I think the three pick themselves. Toya is obviously the surprise here. No doubt, in my opinion, he's had some great moments so far to start his very early NRL career. I think he's only played 10 games now, is the length of his career so far. He's shown that he'll be in the game for a long time, and I've got no doubt he'll become one of those really elite centers in our game. Is it too early, though? I know you're the Roosters fan here. Jesse, you've probably watched him a lot closer than any of us. Thoughts on it?
I don't agree with it, to be honest with you. I don't think he's done enough in 10 games. I don't think a player can do enough in 10 games to get chosen for an Origin debut. You know what I mean? We saw it with Suaalii get chosen quite early on. Because he was, hyped up as this star boy, and I don't think Toya's kind of got that about him. But he's a good player. He's young. He's come back from a lot of injuries. Very surprising. When I saw his name getting thrown around a few days ago, I was like, why? He's not even making it into my Supercoach team, let alone playing in an Origin side at the moment. So, got to do a little crossover. But while you're having a drink, got him. Look, I think the camp's going to be good for him. He'll learn a lot from it. I don't know. Surely they would have had better options. I would have had Holmes in the centers personally, but then who do you have on the wing? I just feel like there's not a lot of options. I haven't seen the list fully, examine it thoroughly to see who would have been better where. But Coates, fantastic winger. I think we can all agree on that. He's an easy one, no brainer. Valentine Holmes as well, quality center. You probably could have gone with a Gagai even still. I reckon Gagai could still do a job on Origin. He's getting a bit on, but you're looking at the Knights form, you're picking Ponga for the same reason. I don't know. I don't really agree with it. And I just think they could have probably done something different. But my name's not Billy Slater, so I don't know as much.
They're Queenslanders, Jesse. We've got to understand that now. So he's a Queenslander. I'll go to Trav just for my quick one for what I would have done. I sort of agree. I think it might be just a bit too early, especially coming off a series where they did lose. I probably would have played a bit more safe and gone for Gagai. I think we talk about Origin players and Ponga Origin. We've also seen Origin Gagai is a beast as well.
Insane.
So
Yep.
I probably would have gone to that and just played the safe bet at the moment. Is that Suncorp? He's been there, done it before. I don't think he's in the worst form either, especially considering he's in a very poor Knights team. The argument could be made he's probably playing like we sort of said. Yeah, he's just sort of done a job though. So I probably would have gone the Gaga option. Trav, as the Queenslander, yeah, you're happy with obviously the backline. I think you'd be pretty happy with, but Toya is the big question here.
All right, the other three were no brainers. They were literally going to be picked. Holmes has moved out to the wing to accommodate Toya to put in a center. Cobbo and Talangi injury on the weekend just really put a spanner in everything and all the works. If either of them are not injured, Toya's not picked, right? So it's as simple as that. So is there other players out there? I think so. That should be picked. Yeah, 100%. I agree. I don't think Toya should be in this team, but he's going to break the record for the least games played that makes an Origin debut. So, I mean, that's a credit to him. This screams Billy Slater a couple of years type move when he brought Cotter in and Nanai in and did all that sort of stuff. And Walsh, it just screams that Billy Slater move. I just don't think he's the right one, but it is what it is. He's picked and that's where it's gone. I don't agree. I would have gone myself because I want that number 3 jersey. I would have I think to be fair, I would have just picked Gagai. Simple as that. I would just lock that away. With just the experience and just what we need for that game 1 in Brisbane.
I will say, to Toya's credit, there's a good chance he's probably going to be lining up against Latrell. He played against Latrell in the centres too. And he just had a really good game. He contained him really well for what Toya against Latrell could do. And, if that was enough for him to at least get a look in, thinking who's going to be your opposing centre, like he did a shift and he can do it. But yeah, it's going to be a hard one for him. Like it's a different stage. I just hope he can come out of the other side all right for the Roosters side, to be fair.
Yeah. No doubt. To be honest, I can see him having a moment or two now that we've questioned it. So let us know in the comments. Let us know what you think as well. Be involved. Would you go the option of Gagai? You happy to go all in with the youngster Toya, or is there someone else that you would have gone? The halves, I think Cameron Munster picks himself. He's been in great form as well. I think he's been really warming into timing of game 1 perfectly. I think he was even very, very good on the weekend as well in the losing team. And the halfback captain, Daly Cherry Evans, after they're not the most ideal start to the year. There was even people questioning if he should have even got this jersey based on form, not being in the best of form. Tommy did, and obviously had been quite good in the lead up. Trav, again, Munster, I think very much, that's plain and simple. But Cherry Evans and the captaincy as well. Happy with that one as a Queenslander, him captaining his state in the 7th?
Yeah. We just got too much inexperience. We've got too many injuries. We've got too many things to deal with. I think we just lock away that guy that's done the job for so long for us as a captain, as a leader, and he's a no-brainer. I have no problems with it. I don't think he's been overly bad. I don't think his form's been overly bad. It's not been great, but it's not been bad either. So I think put him in this element with this team around him, even with all the injuries we've had to deal with, he's going to be fine. I just don't have. I just think let's just not complicate things too much. I think the only argument that I would have, I would absolutely say no to Dearden in that role next to Munster when I've got that choice. The only one that I would pick over Daly Cherry Evans based off form is Fogarty. Like it's as simple as that. And I've said it so many times. But I still would pick DCE.
Yeah, I agree.
Love your Fog. Shout out to you, brother.
Had to get him in there.
Jesse. It was very probably it was always going to go down to this. And like Trav said, with the last minute injuries and that as well, I think Cherry Evans makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, definitely. It's what they know. It's consistent. It's everything they're used to, and I don't think there's any point really messing it around too much. I just don't think they can really afford that that kind of thing to change your halves in such a drastic way. But yeah, look, they're not going to have Cherry Evans so much longer in general, so you may as well keep him while he's around. And yeah, just get what you're used to. But yeah, I just think Fogg has done enough. Surely this season, if you're going off that, to at least get considered. But no, I don't think they overthink that position. 6 and 7, easiest names on the board.
Get you in, Fogg, mate. I would have picked you at fullback, to be fair. I just would have had you in the team. Foggy. Let's go to the forward pack. So you got Moaki Fodawaka and Tino Fa'asu Malawi in the props. Harry Grant in the hooker after overcoming his injury on the weekend. Ruben Cotter, Jeremiah Nanai on the edges, and Patrick Carrigan after that horrible mouth laceration that I think everyone has seen that ugly picture of now. I was very close to chucking my food up after seeing that. So thanks for putting that online, Carrigan, and everyone else. But the forward pack, Trav, I'll throw back to you. What are your thoughts on your forward pack?
I like the names. I like some of the form in some of them. I think they all can play. I would make some changes. In terms
A lot of
where
hesitation.
Yeah, Tino's a no-brainer. And to be fair, Tino, if Terrell May, I mean, Tino can make a case for being one of the best, if not the best, forward in the comp. And you can make an argument for him with that. It's just that Payne Haas and May this year have just been enormous. I don't think Ruben Cotter deserves his spot. I think his form's been really poor. So I don't like that. I think Jeremiah Nanai had a rocket put up his backside, and since then has just been fantastic. I love that pick. Patrick Carrigan has been enormous forward for the Broncos. He's only overshadowed because he plays next to Haas. So I like the names. Mofo, I'm a bit hesitant to talk about too much. I don't like that. But again, I'm looking at it like, who the hell would we pick? Like we just there's no one screaming out to me to pick it. The changes I'd make is I'd put Mo on the bench. I'd move Carrigan into the forward simply. And I'd have Cotter. I'd move Cotter out of that and get Firmer on the ground. And that's the sort of move that I have. As soon as I saw that, that was what I sort of said. I wrote that down in my notes and messaged myself for this podcast. And I've seen a few other people mention that too. But yeah, that was kind of what the only real changes that I would do is, Mo to the bench, Carrigan to prop, a Cotter to lock, and Fermel to the left edge, because I just think Fermel's just been fantastic since moving out to that and locked that spot. That's probably what I do.
Yeah. No, I probably agree with those changes, to be fair. Jesse, forward pack as a New South Welshman, you look at that and do you lick your lips or?
I do. I just think, God, what a run we're going to have if this is the way that Queensland are going to be lining up for the future. Because I can't see anyone coming through. And I think, you've had your run. You've been good for years and decades, and you've had so many on the board. Let us have a go for once. We've got a wealth that we're not even choosing anyone from. We just got to leave Ola Kawatu in number 20. But you're resorting to bloody starting Ruben Cotter on your edge. It's just a different age for it. But I agree with your changes. I would have probably started Fermor. God, he's been so good. And Cotter definitely hasn't. But either way, like when they're on the park, they're probably, when you're looking at Tino in the 10, you could probably put him at 13. You could swap him and Carrigan around. You've got a couple options there, but I just think Fermor, he's been one of the better back rowers, I could say, for Queensland.
Since he's locked that 11 jersey in, 100% he has been.
Yeah. So, what has Cotter done this season?
Nothing.
Nothing. I genuinely don't even remember one single play that Cotter's done that you can go, oh wow, he's warranted it. Besides, being in there last year and the year before. So, I think things might change come game day. There might be a couple little things here and there. The minutes might even be shorter than we expect, and you get the lineup that you're expecting. But, it doesn't scare me. It really doesn't scare me at all. There's two good players. There's Tino and Carrigan, and they're both fantastic. They're quality, world-class players. And outside of that, Cotter, he can be good. Nanai can, freaking hell, he can be a world beater on his day too. But that's the thing, it's a lot of on their day. I just hope that day isn't game one. So yeah, it's not as terrifying as looking at the blue side by any means.
Suncorp, it very well could happen. That's the thing.
that's-
Is it fair to say the Queenslanders, they need both Tino and Patrick Carrigan to play big minutes in this, to do anything in this? They need them both to be on one.
Yeah, 100% they will. They've got Dearden in the 14, and I don't see the versatility that Dearden can really give that Watson can, especially through the middle. So on that as well, you look at the rest of it, because we haven't even gotten to the bench yet, but we will in a minute. But I'll kind of sort of cross over slightly. But yeah, like Collins hasn't played a great deal. He's come back from injury, so I can't expect a lot out of him at the same time. Fermor can play 120 if he wants to comfortably. So I don't know why he's not starting when you've got someone like Cotter who could be that guy that you bring on for that impact, because he's done that. So yeah, I just think naturally those two players, Tino and Carrigan, they do play big minutes, and I don't think it's going to be abnormal to see them play, a significant chunk of what's out there for them. So
yeah, they're going to have to. Hey, I'll see what you've said here, and I'll give you 3 names, and then you'll know where I'm going. In our reserves, we have Kurt Mann, Jesse Arthurs, and Finafuaki, man. Like, who else are we putting in there? If that's our reserves,
slim.
what the hell else are we doing? Like, it's slim pickings, man.
It's slim
pickings. It's slim pickings. And to be fair,
Yeah.
we've been able to put some really good players in some really good spots.
Yeah.
So,
it's the best of a bad bunch. Eh?
That's very harsh. But we've got some very good players in some very good spots. Do they match up with that? Can we match up with the New South Wales names? No. But, yeah.
They're all just names. They're all just names on a list at the end of the day. And, game starts and they're fired up. It's a whole different story.
It's a different game. Yeah.
You can never really write them off because of it. So, yeah, I think for what they've got on board and what they have actually selectable and chosen, players in the flesh, warm bodies, it's what they've got. It's the best they've got. And it's not bad. They're not shitters. It's just they're not the Blues.
Yeah, and as we've probably said, some of them aren't in great form either, which probably is a bit of. You don't want to have too many players coming into these where they're not in great form. Like, I feel like you can carry probably 2, out of 3 to stretch. You want majority of your squad to be in form in these sorts of camps. So,
remember Dave Feeder? Remember how good
Who's
he used
that?
to be?
Dude's
Remember how good he used to be? He's not even
Billy
playing anymore.
Billy doesn't know who he is.
He straight up killed his career, man. Unreal.
The bench.
I actually think most of those guys. Sorry, Joel. I apologize. But I actually think Mofo, Tino, Nanai, and Carrigan are all coming in with form. So I think we've got form, and Mofo hasn't been bad. He just plays for the Titans.
He's been scoring tries, man.
We're not talking about him because of who he plays for. Ruben Cotter hasn't got form and hasn't really had form, but he hasn't been bad either. Like, it's not been atrocious. It's just not the Ruben Cotter that we're used to seeing, and what he can do might be different come Origin time. But yeah, like, to answer that question, these guys are mostly in form. Nano's been huge. He's probably been one of the most in form edge back rowers since he got dropped. He's been enormous the last 5 weeks. Let's give him credit where it's due. And his defense has picked up. And that's one thing that he got dropped for, was because of his terrible defense. Well, he went out and had a week, and since then he's been great. Not elite, but much better. So yeah, I think we'll be okay. It's not the New South Wales pack that's basically internationals, but yeah, it'll be okay.
Yeah. Oh, and we didn't touch on Harry Grant either. There's not much to touch on. No brainer.
No.
Yeah.
No, and look, he's form.
Fit.
The only thing that I've got concerns of is how many minutes he can play. And I think it really hurt us when he went off for the Storm on the weekend. He ended up playing that. I think he came off for about 20 minutes or so. That period hurt us. But like, he's got another week and a half to recover. But Origin's different. It's faster. It's tougher. Yeah, hopefully he can survive.
I suppose you can move Cotter in. You've got options. They've got options. Definitely things you can do.
It's a bit ugly, but yeah, if you need to.
Cotter in the 9. He's done it before.
Yeah, and done well. Done really well. It's not Harry Grant. It's not the best hooker in the world, but it's not bad.
It was Ben Hunt last year,
if there was real concern about Harry Grant, I feel like you'd see a guy called Reid Marnie in the either 18, 19 or 20 jersey just for
Yeah, for
coverage.
sure.
And the fact that he isn't there, I feel like Harry's basically said, I'm good now. I'll be sweet. So on the bench, so 14, Tommy Dearden, Lindsay Collins in the 15, Bo Fermor, and then Trent Liero. 18th man is Kurt Mann, 19, Jesse Arthurs, and 20, Kulakefu Fine Fuiaki, which came from a bit left field in my opinion. But again, these are sort of, you give him a bit of taste, get around the squad, things like that. So I can't badmouth either of those last two too much because they're basically doing what those positions are sort of for. Provided that most of this squad, we haven't heard any rumors yet of anyone being injured or anything like that. So it's not really injury coverage like the Blues have with a couple of their players. It's more so giving these guys a bit of experience, which I think both have had little moments this year and are probably the next cab off the rank over the next couple of years in those chosen positions, potentially. Tommy Dearden, I think, is a very easy decision there. He was very much a set and forget. Once he started to find form, he showed last year as well he can handle this level. He's become an elite sort of player and playmaker. I'm questioning Lindsay Collins, to be fair. I know he's been out for a while. Came back on the weekend, had a couple of decent runs, I feel like, but I don't know if it's straight into, maybe that's more so saying the depth issues that we've been talking about with Queensland. That probably finger points onto that and puts a spotlight onto it. Bo Fermor's been insane. I sort of agree with what you both said. I feel like he deserves a starting spot instead of coming off the bench, but maybe the idea there is Cotter gets through the defensive workload early on and then goes into perhaps something else or into the middle, lock, or Carragher goes into the prop forward rotation after 20-odd minutes. Who knows? Trent Liero. Feels like it was only last week, but all three of us were sitting there at Magic Round watching it. Trav went ballistic. I don't want to repeat anything that was said about Liero from Trav, but it was being echoed by most Melbourne fans. And to be fair with you, I've spoken to a number of Melbourne fans that follow the page, things like that. I know a couple outside the page as well. This year, especially, not like last year, a lot of people were really raving about Trent Liero, and I could see it as well. His form was really good, improved almost week on week as a player. This year, though, I just feel like he's been a bit all over the shop. I don't know if this year's warranted that jersey, especially when I see 18th man Kurt Mann, who for mine has been a much better player, can handle that 13 jersey or that middle role if required. It's just a bit of an odd selection in my opinion. Jesse?
Yep.
Sorry. Got to throw it to
Certainly
someone.
is. Yeah, I didn't expect it, to be honest, but going through the 18th, 19th, and 20, like you mentioned before, there's not a lot of options. But I probably would have put Kurt Mann up in there too. Dude can play anywhere. You can put him in bloody fullback if you had to, and I reckon he'd do a good job. So yeah, I
Is
just
there
think
Connor
having that,
Watson?
basically, yeah. Well, the Bulldogs, Connor Watson, has already got one of them at the Dogs. Yeah, I just think he's that good, kind of anywhere that you need him to be. That he's sort of the dude that you want on the bench, and yeah, it's a bit surprising he's not there over a Trent Liero, especially the last couple of weeks out of him. What we've seen, very error riddled. But look, man, it's a Storm contingent as far as it goes on selection. So he's obviously done enough to impress Billy directly. And maybe steps up for it, to be fair. Has he been in the side before? Like actually in the bench? I know he's been 18th, 19th or something prior. Yeah, but not.
Hasn't
Yeah,
played.
just extended.
So this is it. Yeah. Yeah, so this is it. Well, yeah, I suppose we'll see. It can't be a massive stint. Like I don't think he's going to be the game breaker or the difference or anything unless he comes out and, elbows somebody in the head again. But yeah, it's a bit of a nothing pick. It could have been anyone, in my opinion. So
I wouldn't say it could be anyone. We don't have anyone
Well, it could
left.
could be
but
man. It could be him.
it could be.
Fuiaki, but I
But
wouldn't have that.
we do need some extra size to come off the bench. And there is one dude who's got fiery red hair, who's a bit of a monster with a bit of anger that would suit Origin well, that didn't get put in the team, which makes no sense. But we do need size. I'm not sold on Collins. I get it. Like, this is a silly thing to say, but I feel like we're picking Collins to bring on so that we've just got some sort of like meathead take a few carries, put a few sting in, kind of the Lenu type thing, but no one can do it better than what Lenu can do. But that's kind of what we've picked him for. I just don't feel the pick. We don't need that. We're away from that. It doesn't suit us. It's not our style anymore, like that sort of thing. So I don't get that pick of Lindsay Collins. I still think Bo Firma should be starting with some changes. So I do understand the Liero pick. To be fair, I'd probably drop Collins, put Liero up, and have Mann there. It's probably what I would do, but I'm not the selector. But yeah, I do like because Mann can still go in. Like Mann can literally, as you say, play any spot on the field. So when you need to, and then the other thing too is we've got a Ruben Kotick can do the same thing. So you can shuffle the cards a little bit if something happens, and you've got some people to do it with. So doesn't make sense to me, but it is what it is.
No horse.
Talk to me. Talk the horse. Yeah, that's the big elephant in the room, and I feel like everyone so far has said WTF about this. This is the Queensland's Terrell May, in my opinion, because on the bench.
I don't think you can compare that at all.
That's the big omission. That's the big omission. I feel like that's the. I can't believe it. Like I look at this more and more. He should be there for mine instead of Lindsay Collins.
Yeah, I agree. That's what I said before. Like there's in front of Lindsay Collins. I mean, I'd be, to be honest, any one of Lindsay Collins or Liero next to Horsburgh, and I wouldn't bat an eyelid. So I don't care whether it was Collins or Liero. I'd be happy either way. But Horsburgh should be in that side on that bench for sure.
I reckon he starts.
Yeah, I do too. But
I'd be putting
based off what those two,
bench.
Based off what I'm seeing there, there should be no reason he's not starting.
Yeah, at least not 18th, 19th, or 20th, just to be completely excluded. Like it's just, he's been fantastic. Like he's been really solid. Like it's exactly what they need. And you look at the team, you look at the bench. They're clearly lacking someone like Horsburgh. But when you have someone like Horsburgh named Corey Horsburgh available, I don't understand why you wouldn't just have him there. Another one that just confuses the shit out of us. But again, there's no point overthinking the room there. He's cleared a day for feeder for less. So who knows? But yeah, there's a big Corey Horsburgh size hole in that team. So
yeah, it doesn't make sense. I've actually had him in my doing all those predicted posts. I think the third week all the way through, I've had him starting the whole time. Yeah. So
I thought
it's
no-brainer.
Huge, yeah. I didn't think it was overthinking the room at all. I thought it was underthinking the room. I thought it was an obvious pick. I don't know.
Yeah, no, exactly right. Everyone did, Go back into the bloody Supercoach realm of things. Everyone sold him, anticipating an Origin call-up. Sorry, everyone, that sucks. But yeah, it doesn't make sense. I don't know what it's. And again, it's not a Terrell May spec sort of quality. But again, I don't know what more Corey could have done given the role that he has been given at the Raiders right now. He hasn't done a foot wrong. He's solid. He's reliable. He plays big minutes, does his tackles, doesn't do many things wrong. Hasn't really had too many disciplinary problems either this year. I don't think he's been binned once. It's just not a problem. I don't know.
Do you reckon Ricky's done the Blues a favour? Billy's caught him and said, well, what do you think about Horse in this arena? Oh, mate, to be honest, I don't think he'd handle it. Like, I think he'd just be over the edge emotionally. Like, he's not ready. Don't pick him. Like, he's done us a favour. Good on you, Ricky.
And he picks Liero. And then he picks Liero because he can keep it together. Like, couldn't keep it together for Magic Round, but because he can keep it together.
I think Ricky's just trying to strengthen his team for a premiership push, and he wants all of his players fit and firing. But he let Hudson Young go, so...
Ricky would have said, I wouldn't have picked Horse, but one guy that really stuck out to me the other week at Magic Round, Trent Liero. I'd pick him. He can handle the big occasion.
Did you see what he did against us? Damn, he was good.
He's a game winner for us.
Yeah. Anyways,
before we get over to some predictions, just one little talking point I've got here for the Queenslanders. Only fair to at least raise one for these guys. Billy Slater, obviously been the coach now for a few years. Is he under any pressure if they lose this series?
I don't think so. There's no better alternative than him. Not putting their hand up.
He has the job for as long as he wants it.
Basically.
I think
I reckon
so.
they can. Honestly, I do think so. I just don't think like he'll lose. He will lose this one, and he'll probably lose the next one, and then he might step down himself. But I don't think they're going to sack him.
Is it because
Bloody
he's a
rude to sack
Queenslander?
Billy Slater. Probably a bit more loyal to the cane
So
toad.
Trav, let's say 3-0. You don't think there's any pressure at all? Do you even think? Let's not say he'll get sacked because I don't think they'll ever do that to Billy. Do you reckon he'd then say, you know what, I'm happy to step aside?
No, no, he won't do that because he'll
Too
come
much of a
back next year. Yeah, that's right. He'll come back and go, well, I'll fix this next year.
And he gets swept again.
I
next year.
I actually don't think this is. I don't think this will be a sweep, but I think it'll be 2-1. I think
We're getting there.
we'll get there. But to answer, well, no, but I have to say that to answer your question. So, which then means that there's no. I don't think there's anything or pressure wise on Billy. Like Billy's the baby of he's the man of Queensland. Like it is what it is. He's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
got to play more than 3 games a year.
Tell me, yeah, and then tell me who could come in anyways.
Josh Hannay.
Cam Smith.
Cam Smith won't put his hand up for it. Jonathan Thurston won't put his hand up for it, and they're both in the camp. Josh Hannay would.
They're all too comfortable being pundits.
You don't want an assistant coach come and coach Origin, sure.
Alrighty, let's get into some predictions. So what we're going to do here into 2 parts. So the first one is game 1 predictions, and then there's a couple for the series as well. First up for this one is winner and score for game 1. Trav, what do you got?
I got Queensland winning because it's still at home in a 22-18 game. And I'll even give you a first try scorer.
No, I just want an anytime try scorer, actually.
Oh, anytime try scorer.
Yes.
Hamiso. Tabula Fido loves an Origin try.
Perfect. I've just written that in the wrong box. Awesome. Jesse, give us your winner and score. And because Trav's got us there, go the anytime as well.
I'll go New South Wales. Not as high scoring as Trav. I'll go 18-12. And anytime, I'll go Latrell. I think he runs over Toya.
Oh, I like it. I'm actually, as much as I'd love to say it's a sweep, the fact that Laurie Daly is coach at the moment and he's already shown he's Laurie Daly of old in a way, I'm a bit cautious about this first game. It's Suncorp, the Hoodoo. We won there last year to win the series. I think they'll be out for blood, which terrifies me. I'm going to say, as much as it pains me, I think Queensland will win the first game. I think we will then bounce back and win the next 2 once again. But I think Queensland get it done. A low scoring game as well. Actually, I'm going to say 14 points to 8. The Queenslanders will win. So a low scoring game, typical sort of Origin. Just get down in the dumps, and it'll be great to have someone like Terrell May in the team to help us out of that. But we don't have that anyway. Man of the match, guys. Who do you think will be the man of the match for game 1? Jesse, I'll throw it to you.
For game 1?
Yeah.
Oh, damn. I'm going to say Mitch Moses.
Ooh, I like that. I'm going Munster. I think Munster will light it up. His timing is run perfectly. Trav?
I was going to say Munster, but because you said I'll go something different and say
you can jump
Carrigan.
Ooh. Mouth laceration and all. They'll have a different lip by then. So what do they do with the plastic surgery? They get a piece of plastic from your ass and put on your lip. How good is that? You got to kiss his
Talking
ass.
out of his ass.
Imagine his missus. He can take the joke to him and go, you can kiss my ass.
Straight butthole on his face.
Shout out to
classic.
you, Paddy. Shout out. All right, now the series. Can I get the series winner and the score, please? I'm locking in New South Wales 2-1. I think they get it done. Trav?
Yeah, I said that before. 2-1, New South Wales. I think as As I said, I think we win the first one and then they get the next two.
I'm
Jesse?
3-0. I'm 3-0. It's in my little tag down here. I can't be saying otherwise. But you know what? I'm going to say this. I really hope they do win 3-0. But at the same time, if they do win 3-0, I can just assure you it's going to come out. We didn't need Terrell May. And that'll be everywhere. If that's what happens, that'll be everywhere. And it'll just be one of those things. What more could we have done? We won 3-0. You know what I mean? I can just see it at the moment. But
Surely.
it's just
Surely
me
not.
clutching.
Oh, well. Oh, well.
Either way, it'll be a celebration in the streets for sure.
Top try scorer of the series. Trav?
Hammer.
Ooh. Jesse?
Lomax.
That was my other one.
Oh, I like that. I'm going Latrell. I think Latrell could score a few and just, as I said, light up the series. Now, player of the series, the big one. Jesse, who is taking home player of the series?
Player of the series. Oh, man. Look, if it's going to be that way, I reckon it could be Latrell.
Fuck, you stole it.
Big player of the series. It could be, written in lights.
You took him. No worries. Let you have him. I'll have Cleary. I said it almost at the start of the podcast that I felt this could be his year where he actually just says, you know what? Mic drop. I've now completed everything that everyone's questioning me for, and I think he could dominate this Origin series. Trav?
You literally stole the words out of my mouth, Joel. I was going to say, at the start of this pod, you gave Cleary a big rap and you said it's his name stamped all over this. Cleary will get man of the series. So I can't not go with you there. I'm not going to change for that. I just think that's a Cleary.
Yeah. I hope he does.
Hold my hand. We're in this together, mate. It's all good. We can work on this. We'll go and gamble responsibly and put a couple of dollars on this one. It might get us to next year's Magic round. That'd be nice.
Perfect.
That is it. We are pumped up for this one. Origin it's just around the corner. Like, this will fly by. Obviously, all the hype. There's a few games during the week for the page as well. It's very busy. A couple of days ahead. Obviously, the live show tomorrow night. We've got the Power podcast as well, and then Supercoach. We're going to assume Jesse's back, but who knows after last week's horrible.
I'll be there.
He's
Can't
learned his
imagine
lesson the hard way.
Yeah, I got punished by the Supercoach gods. Got shafted.
And let's be honest, Joel, we killed that podcast for Spy Ourselves last week. We don't really need him, but he's coming on because he knows if he doesn't, he's going to go shit. So
yeah.
Well, I'll ask you actually on Wednesday, Jesse, but this is a bit of homework. Can you actually just give us a little report card from our podcast last week, please, on Wednesday night? Not now. Do it for Wednesday night. I want to hear a little bit of feedback from it. So thank you, guys. Obviously, up the Blues from myself and Jesse. Queenslanders, you got Trav in your corner. He's just not himself. He needs someone else here, but he's fighting the good fight for you. Obviously, all the underdogs, we're going to get smashed, blah, blah, blah. That's not Queensland. They'll come out. They'll do something. Terrell May, we're thinking of you, brother. Love you. Maybe we'll start a third state. You can start representing Victoria or something. You can enter this series. But good luck. Let's go. Pump up the Blues.